Coming up on News 11, the Goo Goo Dolls will be returning to Buffalo for a benefit show. Flights are still feeling the effects of the government shutdown, and BBC leaders recently resigned. All this and more, News 11 starts right now. Good evening and welcome back to News 11. I'm Kellyanne Hender.
And I'm Matt Volz.
We have a lot of exciting stories to cover, so let's get started with your local news. This past Monday, the Spectator Fredonia High School's newspaper was awarded for being one of the top student publications in the state. The Empire State School Press Association, or ESSPA, competition hosted by the Newhouse School of Public Education at Syracuse University has given the Spectator 11 awards throughout the 2024-2025 school year. This 87-year-old competition is highly prestigious with 150 entries from more than 30 schools with 35 judges ranking each submission. The director of ESSPA, Christina Key, made the long drive from Syracuse to Fredonia to present the awards herself this year. She said, quote, "I think the work that is being done here is amazing. We're happy to be able to come and support the students and celebrate them for another great year," end quote. The Spectator won awards such as the Gold Award for Best Overall Newspaper and the Service to School Gold Award, which means the paper has had the most positive overall impact on their local community. The Spectator has a staff of about 75 students, and it is led by teacher Lisa Reinhart with the assistance of Dadi Sadotan. Besides the Gold Awards, the paper also won silver for Best Photograph, Best Graphic Illustration, and Best Artwork. They won bronze for Best Written Work in a Newspaper and Best Feature Story. The teachers involved with this paper are extremely proud of their students and hope to continue their success within the competition.
Kaleida Health has unveiled plans for a $223 million hospital in Fredonia. The facility has been 9 years in planning, and Kaleida Health plans on building it on a plot of land off East Main Street in the village of Fredonia. Since its first conception, the project has grown in both size and cost, combining hospital services and medical offices. In its last rendering, the hospital included 16 emergency department bays, 3 operating rooms, 3 procedure rooms, a helipad, and a full imaging suite. The renderings show that the facility will have only around 20 inpatient beds and will not include an ICU or maternity ward. Meanwhile, the lengthy development process is acknowledged by Kaleida CEO Don Boyd, though he claims that the perseverance of the community has helped during these 9 years. Ken Morris, CEO of Brooks TLC Hospital, stresses the importance of the hospital's location as it is closer to the thruway and other commonly used routes. Morris claims that, quote, "It really opens the door for a much greater population to northern Chautauqua County," end quote. While the hospital isn't expected to open until late 2028, Kaleida Health officials hope to start the building process as of next month at the earliest.
Starting today and running through Friday, the Dunkirk City School District is hosting a holiday food drive. Superintendent Brian Swatland said, quote, "It is a drive-through style donation drop-off. Cars can enter the secondary school entrance on Maradar Drive and pull up to the gym entrance, where donations can be placed in the collection bins," end quote. Donations are accepted from 11 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. Non-perishable foods such as canned fruits and soups as well as monetary donations are being accepted. All donations will go towards helping the families of Dunkirk City school districts.
Like many communities across the nation, the Seneca Nation is feeling the effects of the government shutdown on its community members that rely on federal assistance. Those who are enrolled in programs such as SNAP and WIC did not receive their benefits this past month and are struggling to keep their families fed. Seneca Nation departments have made it known that there are resources available for those needing food assistance. The nation's Tribal Advocate Program is also continuing to accept food donations. Non-perishable items they are prepared to accept in any quantity, and fresh food is also accepted but in limited quantities due to storage space. Each Seneca Nation program will be sending out updates to its members about the availability of food assistance as well as federal government announcements.
In recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, seniors in the cosmetology program at the Hughes Educational Center volunteered their time and skills at the Chautauqua Center in Jamestown. The event focused on raising awareness, providing mammogram screenings, and offering care and encouragement to community members affected by breast cancer. Throughout the day, students offered complimentary hairstylings, manicures, and gel manicures. Their goal was to promote self-care and confidence while showing support for those touched by breast cancer. Cosmetology instructor Kyla Rodriguez said, quote, "Our students were honored to use their talents to support such an important cause. This experience not only allowed them to practice their professional skills, but also reminded them of the power of compassion, confidence, and community service," end quote. The day brought together students, staff, and residents in a meaningful way, demonstrating how service and learning can come together to make a positive impact.
On November 20th at 8 p.m., the Goo Goo Dolls will be playing at Town Ballroom to benefit Feed More Western New York. They shared in a social media post that this hometown show is very special to them, as well as their ability to support the Buffalo community. The Buffalo Police Department, Acting Mayor Chris Scanlon, and the Foot Patrol Integration Unit have been working to deliver food to those in need. This past week, over 6,000 pounds of food were brought to those in need after being donated by community members over the weekend. The Goo Goo Dolls are hoping to provide increased funds to support their efforts. Tickets went on sale this morning at 10 a.m. The Buffalo Water Authority has quietly suspended a program that helped homeowners replace dangerous lead pipes. The Replacing Old Lead Lines program, known as ROLL, was paused without a public notice, affecting homeowners and leaving residents without assistance on repairs that can cost thousands. The ROLL program was launched in 2019 to address Buffalo's massive lead pipe problem. Since then, the city has replaced roughly 40,000 lead pipes, ranking as the 14th most in the country. Dozens of homeowners were left without information after the program was suspended. Videos from a water board meeting show the discussion of 70 households with leaking pipes, now potentially preventing them from the replacements they need before the program was suspended. The Buffalo Water Board Code does not allow homeowners to make repairs to lead pipes and instead forces them to replace them when there is a leak, and their water could be shut off if the pipes are not replaced. The board members did eventually pause the program before going into an executive session. And they have increased funding for, quote, high priority repairs and lead services, end quote, by about $2.5 million, only on the stipulation that the ROLL program be paused. New York State Governor Kathy Hochul has announced a $61 million green resiliency grant funding to support 8 major stormwater infrastructure projects across the state, including one in Buffalo. The project, funded through the Clean Water, Clean Air, and Green Jobs Environmental Bond Act, aims to use nature-based solutions to reduce flooding and protect communities from extreme weather. Of this $61 million investment, the Buffalo Sewer Authority will receive $10 million to install bioorientation areas and stormwater street trees. This project plans to reduce runoff and improve the water quality in Skajackwada Creek. It also supports a broader $1 billion 15-year initiative to enhance water quality in the Niagara River watershed through green and gray infrastructure improvements. State Senator Sean Ryan commenting on the grant saying, quote, "For far too long, overflows from Buffalo's aging sewer system have sent untreated wastewater into Skajackwada Creek during heavy rains. This state investment will help the Buffalo Sewer Authority reduce pollution, protect water quality, and make real progress toward restoring one of our region's most important waterways. It's an important step forward in our ongoing effort to clean up Western New York's waterways and build a more resilient future," end quote. And when we return, we will have your national stories. We'll be right back.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
This past Monday, the Supreme Court declined an appeal to revisit the case that constitutionalized the right to same-sex marriage. Kim Davis, a former Kentucky county clerk, is the individual who brought the appeal to the court. Davis is now responsible for paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages for refusing to issue same-sex marriage license after the initial decision of Obergefell versus Hodges. Many were shocked at the Supreme Court's decision, primarily due to the current conservative majority on the court. The court is much more conservative than it was in 2015 when Obergefell versus Hodges legalized same-sex marriage. Davis was a county clerk at the time of the federal case and immediately expressed her feelings against the decision, citing religious reason. She refused to sign marriage license and was sued by multiple couples in the county, resulting in significant fees and even several days in jail. She finally appealed to the higher court to look to get the case overturned. Other decisions made by this court, such as the overturning of Roe versus Wade, allowing the ban of puberty blockers and the requirement for sex markers on government documents to be your sex assigned at birth, are all cause for concern. While this decision is regarded as a win for LGBTQ advocates, it does not set a clear precedent for the future of this Supreme Court.
Just after 5 p.m. last Tuesday, a UPS cargo plane crashed in an explosive fireball shortly after takeoff from Muhammad Ali International Airport in Louisville, Kentucky. The aircraft struggled to gain altitude during takeoff, eventually striking the roof of the UPS warehouse at the end of the runway before leaving a half-mile-long path of debris through several roads and buildings. The plane was on its way to Honolulu, carrying approximately 280,000 gallons of fuel for the journey. Several pieces of security and dash camera footage of the crash have surfaced since the incident, depicting the McConnell Douglas MD-11F ripping across the ground in a terrifying fireball. In one video taken from a truck driving towards the airport at the time of the crash, the aircraft can be seen missing its left engine before it hits the ground. On Thursday, an investigation team from the National Transportation Safety Board arrived on scene, recovering the aircraft's black boxes and asking the public to turn in any scraps found from the crash site. Kentucky Representative Morgan McGarvey described the crash site as apocalyptic, adding, quote, "The smells, the sights, these are things that are not going to escape us when we close our eyes tonight," end quote. So far, investigators have discovered 12 victims, including the 3 crew members aboard the flight. The number of casualties is expected to increase as investigators continue to search the debris field, and the victims have yet to be identified. UPS CEO Carol Tomé released a statement on Wednesday saying that the company is working with authorities and expressing, quote, "We have suffered a tragic accident involving Flight 2976. We are deeply saddened and our hearts continue to be with all who have been impacted," end quote.
The families of 13 girls and 2 counselors have filed 4 lawsuits against Camp Mystic in Texas after 27 girls died in catastrophic flooding this past summer. The flooding that happened on July 4th greatly affected the 99-year-old all-girls Christian camp in Kerr County, leaving 25 girls and 2 counselors to pass. 4 lawsuits were filed this past week by many families of the girls, claiming the camp of gross negligence. Many of these victims, being the youngest ones in the camp, were housed in cabins closest to the Guadalupe River, which caused the deadly flooding. The lawsuits filed by the families of 6 of the campers saying, quote, "Tragically, due to lack of planning, the absence of any evacuation plans, lack of training, inadequate warning systems, and other acts and omissions of recklessness and gross negligence, plaintiffs' daughters suffered terrifying, brutal, and horrific deaths," end quote. Many of the lawsuits claim that Camp Mystic did not have adequate safety plans and prioritized money over safety, as many of the girls were ordered to remain in their cabins, which were in high flood areas. These cabins were known to be in high flood areas and remained to not be relocated. The lawsuits report that while the river was rising, the camp chose to have the groundskeepers spend over an hour evacuating camp equipment rather than its campers and counselors. The filings also claim that the camp knew it was in a flood zone and was aware of the history of the flash flooding in Kerr County and repeats of prior flooding events, but still failed to implement modern safety measures and update its flood protocols. The lawsuit filed by 5 families added, quote, "Finally, when it was too late, the camp made a hopeless rescue effort from its self-created disaster in which 25 campers, 2 counselors, and the camp director, Dick Eastland, died," end quote. All 4 of the lawsuits continue to mention inadequate emergency instructions and lack of proactive actions upon learning of the flash flooding warnings. The camp responded by saying the horrific flood was unprecedented and laid out in an interview last month the timeline of the night, evacuating 166 girls from their camps or cabins in an orderly evacuation process. All 4 lawsuits are seeking a jury trial in Travis County District Court and want compensation for mental anguish, among 3 lawsuits seeking more than $1 million in damages.
This has been the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, and it is causing more flights to be canceled for travelers and creating a massive burden for them. This past Friday, more than 1,000 flights were slashed due to the shutdown and President Trump's cuts to reduce U.S. air traffic. In addition to the Trump administration's cuts, airlines are making additional cancellations for hundreds of flyers. Airline officials state that, quote, cancellations are needed to maintain safety, end quote. These safety concerns derive from unpaid airline workers due to the shutdown not showing up to work. With both the government shutdown cuts and airline cancellations, 4,500 flights were delayed on Friday, as well as more than 1,000 flight cancellations in many well-known airports throughout the U.S. The Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA, stated that, quote, airlines must cancel flights to 40 high-volume traffic airports, end quote. Until the government shutdown is fully over, airlines have to meet their quota of flight cancellations for the FAA. Even if the shutdown is lifted, you will still see some airlines canceling flights due to the FAA's emergency order, which requires airlines to, quote, cancel flights days in advance, end quote. Many travelers are scared to book flights for fear of cancellation, but airline officials urge people to book backup tickets to be prepared for an emergency. Travelers are also afraid of being stuck at airports. However, the Department of Transportation states that, quote, airlines must give passengers full refunds for flight cancellations, end quote. However, if the cancellation isn't the airline's fault, they unfortunately do not cover hotel or meal expenses, so it's good to be prepared for unseen cancellations if you are traveling.
Last week in Detroit, an unassuming traffic stop turned into a baby delivery on the side of the road. Melvindale police officer Al Hazen pulled the couple over at 2 a.m. for speeding as they were on their way to the hospital. The delivering mother, Maria, said she was scared of what was going to happen to her and her baby. The officer called for backup, and Corporal Mohammed Hakkam arrived on the scene and quickly realized this baby was going to need to be delivered very soon. Hakkam called the station for backup over the phone, and his younger brother, who works at the dispatch center, helped him deliver the baby. With the guiding of his voice, Hakkam helped Maria deliver her baby that night. The officer and the new mother both said the situation felt like a gift from God. Maria and her daughter, Galilea, are now both safe at home. And when we return, Anna Sheehan joins us for our sports update, and we'll have your first look at weather. We'll be right back.
We've been down there. You gotta do the same. All you do is sign. So don't get nervous. Sign your name. Selective Service. It takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. Selective Service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, Selective Service, you gotta get down to the post office.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. Selective Service.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
We're now joined by Anna Sheehan, who will be giving us our weekly sports update. What's going on in sports, Anna?
Thanks, Kellyanne. Fall sports have officially wrapped up in Fredonia. Women's soccer fell to Plattsburgh Wednesday, losing 1-2. Men's soccer also fell to Buffalo State 0-2, taking both teams out of the playoff contention. Women's basketball opened their season on Friday, coming away with a 71-44 win against Thiel College. Men's basketball started their season on the road this past Saturday against Penn State Beer End and lost 67-94. The Bills suffered a disappointing loss on Sunday against the Miami Dolphins 13-30. This Sunday, they will play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back home in Orchard Park. And now I'll toss it back over to Kellyanne for our weather forecast. What do you have for us, Kellyanne?
Thank you, Anna. This week, Fredonia has seen their first snowfall. Today, those snow showers turned back into rain with a high of 44 degrees and cloudy skies. We saw a 96% chance of precipitation throughout the day, and the wind and rain will continue into the night as we drop down to a low of 38 degrees. Tomorrow, we will see a high of 44 degrees as well. We will have sunny skies in the morning with an 18% chance of some rain. As we head into the night, we will see those cloudy skies come back with a low of 38 degrees and the possibility of some snow showers again. Fortunately, the snow will not stick around for the weekend, so stay tuned. And when we return, we will have your international headlines. We'll be right back.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort.
to get to know each other,
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
Mentor.
Actor.
it's time we take a step forward
it's time we take a step forward
Come together.
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
A car explosion in a tourist area of India's capital city of New Delhi put the country on edge Monday evening. The blast occurred near the city's Red Fort, a palace fort standing as one of India's most important cultural monuments, dating back to 1638 and used as the residence of Mughal empires for nearly 200 years. The Red Fort is located in the center of Old Delhi, surrounded by streets crowded with tourists, shops, and street vendors, which were all thrown into chaos immediately after the blast. According to Delhi Police Commissioner Satish Gulcha, a slow-moving vehicle came to a stop at a red light before the blast at around 6:42 in the evening. Gulcha said, quote, "An explosion occurred in that vehicle. The passengers in the vehicle and people in surrounding vehicles were impacted," end quote. At least 10 people were killed and many others were injured, and an additional 6 vehicles and 3 auto rickshaws were set on fire by the explosion. The cause of the explosion is not yet known, but the Delhi police are investigating the blast under anti-terrorism laws. Many other locations across the country, including government buildings, airports, and heritage sites, have been put on high alert since the incident, especially warning large crowds to stay away from these areas. Delhi's neighboring states of Haryana and Uttar Pradesh have also been on high alert, urging the public to report any suspicious people or objects to the police.
The BBC's Director General Tim Davie and CEO of News Deborah Turnus resigned on Sunday following criticism over impartiality and bias at the News Corporation. Concerns had been raised in recent days surrounding how the BBC misleadingly edited a speech by U.S. President Donald Trump that was broadcast in a Panorama documentary. Davie said that he would work with the BBC's board to transition to his successor. Turnus, who announced she was stepping down at the same time as Davie, said, quote, "The ongoing controversy around the Panorama on President Trump has reached a stage where it is causing damage to the BBC, an institution that I love," end quote. Lisa Nandy, the Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport, thanked Davie for his work at the BBC after he announced his resignation. In a statement, Nandy said, quote, "Davie has led the BBC through a period of significant change and helped the organization to grip the challenges it has faced in recent years. Now more than ever, the need for trusted news and high-quality programming is essential to our democratic and cultural life and our place in the world," end quote.
There's many ways to cross the ocean, but one scientist has captured the best way as hitching a joyride surfing on humpback whales. The marine scientist Olaf Meineke accidentally recorded close-ups of these remoras, also known as suckerfish, high-speed whale surfing. Meineke had placed suction cup cameras on the humpback whales during their annual migration from Antarctica to the waters off Australia's Queensland state, planning to study whale behavior, but instead was met with video feeds regularly filled with dozens of these remoras. Video footage captured the suckerfish riding in groups of up to 50, clinging to the same spots as they were easily able to move with the whale's movements and detach and reattach from the whale as they breached from the water. The remoras are harmless to these giants of the ocean as they cling underneath them and feed on the whale's dead skin and sea lice. Meineke's footage suggests that they do find them to be annoying, saying, quote, "We've had individuals with high numbers of these remoras and they were continually breaching and there were no other whales that they were communicating with. It appeared that they're trying to just get rid of some of these remoras and they were checking whether they had less after they breached," end quote. It is still unclear for how much of this 6,000-mile journey these fish take on with the whales. Meineke predicts that they leave somewhere in more temperate waters and continue clinging on to other larger creatures such as manta rays, dolphins, and even unlucky scuba divers to avoid predators. And after the break, a look at the list of Grammy Award nominees, a look back at the horror film Carrie, and a first glimpse at the making of the Michael Jackson biopic. We'll be right back.
When you think of the local lowdown, what do you think of?
Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's gotta be the laughs we shared. The memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my God, so fun.
The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
The nominees for the 2026 Grammy Awards have been announced with some surprises and some snubs. Kendrick Lamar led nominations with a total of 9, including Album of the Year, Record of the Year, and Song of the Year. The other artists that led nominations included Sabrina Carpenter, Bad Bunny, and Lady Gaga. Bad Bunny made history being the first Spanish-language artist to get nominated for the Best Album, Record of the Year, and Song of the Year. However, he wasn't the only one making history. The hit song Golden from the global sensation K-pop Demon Hunters also got nominated for Song of the Year, Best Pop Duo/Group Performance, and Best Song. If you want to see the full list of nominees for each category, you can visit the Grammys website at Grammy.com. The winners will be announced live on Sunday, February 1st, streaming on Paramount+.
Next year will be the 50-year anniversary of the 1976 horror film Carrie, based on Stephen King's novel of the same name. The film follows a bullied high schooler with telekinetic abilities which slowly become unleashed throughout the film until an aggressively cruel prank on prom night sends her into a murderous rage. Even if you haven't seen the film, many are familiar with the famous scene where Carrie is doused with pig's blood in front of the whole school. Sissy Spacek, the star of the film, recently commented on the scene, saying it surprised her how, quote, how sticky movie blood is. It was terrible, 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 end quote. Spacek also mentioned how she enjoyed working with her co-stars and director Brian De Palma, saying, quote, it's so wonderful to get to work with people who are really into what they're doing, end quote. Speaking on the meaning of the film, Spacek said, quote, that time, middle school to high school, you're going through so many changes, and we all have, no matter what. We've got Carrie inside of us, end quote. Currently, Amazon MGM Studios is preparing a series to be made from the material created by Mike Flanagan, which Spacek said she will be watching.
This past Thursday, a teaser trailer was released for Michael, the film depicting smooth criminal singer Michael Jackson's life and his rise to fame as one of the most influential artists. In the trailer, Jackson is portrayed by his real-life nephew, Jafar Jackson, where he can be seen as the king of pop in some of his greatest moments, including his famous moonwalk dance and in the Thriller music video. The film, directed by Antoine Fuqua, is set to depict the, quote, life beyond the music, tracing his journey from the discovery of his extraordinary talent as the lead of the Jackson 5 to the visionary artist whose creative ambition fueled a relentless pursuit to become the biggest entertainer in the world, end quote. The trailer had not mentioned any of the singer's publicized legal troubles, where back in March of 2006 he was acquitted of child molestation charges in a largely public trial. It was also reported that the film experienced production setbacks as the result of the 1993 investigation of sexual abuse charges on then 13-year-old Jordan Chandler. Reportedly, in the settlement of the case, a clause prohibited the dramatization of the Chandler family, something the film's creative team was unaware of until after the shooting of the project was complete. This roadblock resulted in the movie requiring to be reworked, causing script issues and a delay in the movie's production and release. With it still being unclear how Jackson's sexual abuse allegations are handled in the film, it is currently set to be released April 24th of 2026. And now I'll toss it back to Matt one more time tonight for the end of the weekend weather. How's it look, Matt?
Thanks, Kellyanne. Friday, we will see cloudy skies throughout the day with a high of 49 degrees. As we head into the night, the temperature will drop down to a low of 36 degrees with a 14% chance of some rain. Saturday, we will see it warm up a bit with a high of 56 degrees. We'll have partly sunny skies in the morning that will turn into cloudy skies with a 60% chance of rain in the afternoon. As we head into the night, we will continue to see those cloudy skies and rain as we drop down to a low of 46 degrees. Sunday, we'll see another windy, rainy day with a high of 46 degrees. We'll see clouds throughout the morning with a 52% chance of rain. And as we head into the evening and drop down to a low of 35 degrees, we'll continue to see that rain, which may mix into some snow showers. That's all we have for your weather this week.
Thank you so much, Matt. That does it for News 11. Thank you to our behind-the-scenes crew. We'll be back next week.
As always, thank you to everyone watching at home. Have a great night.